Yeah, Jar's content is pretty shit. He seems like an okay dude in person. I've talked to him on Discord before about random shit, but him making videos on overdone shitty bandwagons that were never that entertaining to begin with is beyond cringy. Like, seriously? A video on fucking Speechy of all people? Speechy's honestly less of a lolcow than half of the retards who talk about her.
Bitch, you talked about Speechy too!
Yeah, no. The difference is that when I talked about Speechy, she wasn't a bandwagon. When you did, she was a bandwagon. That was my fucking point. My point wasn't that, you made a video like on Speechy, therefore that's the problem. My problem is that you made a video on Speechy who was already an overdone, unentertaining bandwagon that didn't fucking matter. That was my fucking point. Like, and you can't try to play the hypocrisy card on me because I never did that. I never did a video on Speechy when she was a fucking bandwagon. And trust me, if I knew that she was gonna become the retarded bandwagon that she is now, I would have never made that video on Speechy, right? And it's really funny. It's really funny that it's really funny because, like, this is not, keep in mind, this is not a critique to Jar, by the way. This is just a really funny observation. Half of the retards who made videos on Speechy, they only did so because I did it. And I know that because I even asked them. That's the that's the funniest thing about the whole Speechy bandwagon. I swear, half of the retards who made videos on Speechy only did so because I did. I promise you that. And that's and that's what I just find fucking hilarious about it, you know?
And your video was one of the worst ones!
But my video was just a shit post. It wasn't supposed to be an actual rant/commentary video. It was literally a minute-long video. A minute-long video. Like a minute, 2 minutes, I forgot the exact time. But it was literally like a couple minutes of me playing a couple clips from her video and just laughing at it because of how fucking absurd, her video was. And that was what my video was. It wasn't supposed to be an actual rant video. It was a shit post to attract retards so I can, laugh at them getting angry at me in the comments. And I got a lot of good fucking comments from that video. I'll tell you that right now. And it worked, right? My video wasn't supposed to be like an actual rant video. I only titled it that way to attract idiots to watch this video, get angry and spurg the fuck out in the comments, and then I'll laugh at them later. That was literally the point of the fucking video.
For those of you who don't know who this person is, this is MegaDoop. Yeah, he changed his name, but I mostly know him as MegaDoop. When I was in the Pokemon drama with Doodletones, he was totally against me. And when the Alt versus the Neo drama happened, he made a video saying me and Doodletones were stupid. But he talked about Doodletones the entire time and not me. It was a little weird. And I've seen him talk shit about me in Seth's Discord server.
Wait, what? I talk shit about you on Seth's Discord server? You mean Seth the programmer? I talk shit about you on his server, huh? Okay, I honestly don't remember if I did. And if I did, then can I get like a screenshot or something? Because I'm not saying that Jar is lying here, okay, people? I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's flat out lying out of his ass. But I honestly don't remember me ever talking shit about him on Seth the Programmer's Discord server. And if I did, I did. Maybe I did. I don't fucking remember. And by talking shit, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean me calling you retarded or something like that? Because if that's the case, I call everybody retarded. But whatever. I honestly don't know what he's talking about. I legitimately don't remember. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't fucking know. A screenshot would be nice because I don't fucking remember, right? So there you go.
And later he decided he didn't like Seth the Programmer.
Yeah, I didn't like Seth the Programmer because Seth the Programmer was being a fucking autist on the internet, whining about fucking versus battles when versus battles is fucking stupid. Okay, versus battles is fucking retarded. Okay, trying to apply physics to cartoons and to fucking, you know, that shit, it's mental. It's fucking mental, man. You know, like that makes no fucking sense. There are so many things in cartoons where you can easily or in fiction for that matter, where you can easily sit there and say that this shit does not, you cannot try to apply the laws of physics to it, right? How can a character, for example, this is something that a lot of versus battles retards like to play out. How can a character be faster than the speed of light if they have a mass? That is physically impossible. If something has a mass, it cannot be faster than light. Because if it was at the speed of light, then their energy would be infinite, right? So this idea that you can just apply physics to Dragon Ball Z or some bullshit like that, it's fantasy. And the reason why it's fantasy is because you're talking about fucking fantasy. You're talking about fiction. Something that doesn't exist in real life. That's the reason why I decided to, you know, why I didn't like Seth the Programmer anymore, because he was taking that shit way too seriously, and he also banned me from his Discord server. So there's another reason. It wasn't for no reason, my dude. So yeah, like what the fuck?
MegaDoop, you've done this so many times before. We both know how this is going to end.
Now, if you guys have no idea who Just a Robot is, me and him actually got into some drama, you know, a few months back, and it was all my fault. I almost dissolved the friendship because we were friends at the time, and it was a really shitty thing to do. He has forgiven me for this shit, so that's really cool.
What exactly did I do wrong? Just making a comment that, you know, saying that I don't like your content warrants an apology now? Why? Like, and the funny thing is, I still consider you a friend. I just don't like your content. When did it become a prerequisite that in order to be friends with someone on YouTube or whatever, that you have to like their content? I'm not going to apologize for shit, because unlike the last time where I was trying to attack your character for no reason, here, all I said was, I just don't like Jar's content, even though he seems like an okay dude. I've talked to him on Discord about shit, and that's it. What's so fucking bad about that?
And yes, his spurging over SJWs is so fucking annoying.
It's spurging over SJWs, not spurging. Seriously, this guy, Junkie, yeah, keep in mind, he had this fucking retard read his, read the comments that he was responding to. But this fucking idiot, like, holy shit, I can't listen to his voice any longer. I'm sorry, I just can't.
MegaDoop, you know I don't make videos about SJWs and feminism anymore. You even congratulated me for it.
Kind of switched his content to focusing on power scaling or debunks of versus battles videos, right? And not gonna lie, I love this transition. I think it's way better than the, let's be real here, the old stale formula of just shitting on SJWs.
Didn't you make a video like a week ago talking about fucking BuzzFeed of all things, which is arguably the most cliched anti-SJW type video you can ever make? And you made one on fucking BuzzFeed about it. And not only that, but about 3 months ago, you made a video talking about how CNN is fake news, which is definitely not an anti-SJW like type video to make. But you made that video, and this is what you say in the beginning of the video.
Hey Jar, I hear you're getting into politics again.
So, no, you still spurg over SJWs, my dude. Like, what the fuck? And also, that clip that you showed everyone to try to debunk my point, that was a clip that I said when you were making purely anime-driven content and the versus battles nonsense, right? It wasn't like a clip I said recently. It was a clip when I still had that fucking gay-ass Darth Vader avatar, right? I changed that avatar like a long-ass time ago. right? So you're not showing everyone the full context here. You're just showing the clip and being like, you know, MegaDoop, you did say this.
Also, MegaDoop, don't call me a spurg when you have done this.
In fact, I challenge every commentary community member right now. Next year at WrestleMania, all of you guys, in the main event, I will walk in there as a challenger and come out of there as a champion. Nothing can stop me. I am the best. I am different from everybody else, and I am the ultimate fucking ranter. Sure, I'm a spurg, I guess. Like, Jar, I only said spurg because that's just part of my everyday language. It's a word that doesn't fucking matter to me. I describe a lot of people on the internet with that word. It's like, did that really bother you that much? Like, it's like if I said Jar's bitching about SJWs is so fucking annoying, and then you respond with, hey, MegaDoop, I'm not the bitch. You're the true bitch. Like, really? I thought it was kind of obvious that I just used the term spurg to describe a lot of retards. And I thought that was kind of obvious from the comment, but nope, it wasn't. I mean, if you had to play the hypocrisy card to try to prove me wrong, okay, I'm a spurg. I mean, I really don't fucking care. Like, that doesn't... It's just a word I use to describe people on the internet. It doesn't mean anything.
Let me guess, MegaDoop, that was just a joke, right? I've heard that excuse so many times.
I mean, it wasn't really a joke, sure. I wasn't doing it to be funny. I was just doing it to be offensive, right? Like, I was just yelling just to, like, fuck with people at the time, right? Because I thought the commentary community was a fucking joke. Which I still do, by the way. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't really a joke, so yeah, I'm not gonna try to argue against that, really.
I wouldn't say it's as bad as Sargon, because at least Jar doesn't go around saying that literal Nazis are cooler than SJWs. No, seriously, that's something that Sargon actually said.
Well, technically that's true. A serial killer is cooler than an accountant. I'm not saying that makes the accountant bad or the serial killer good. I'm just saying that a Nazi is cooler than an SJW any day. A Nazi is, of course, more evil than a feminist, but that doesn't make the Nazi not cool.
Jar, you can't be serious right now. It's like if I went around... It's like if I went around saying that fucking school shooters are cool. Like, that's so fucking dumb, dude. What the fuck? And, you know, I understand where he's coming from. You know, I understand what Jar's, like, the point that Jar's trying to make. You know, talking about Nazis and the history of Nazism and what happened in World War II, it's interesting history, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that it isn't, right? It's like talking about, you know, it's like when you talk about serial killers, it's interesting history. But when you say, like, these things are cool, it sounds fucking autistic, right? It's pure fucking autism. It's like, again, it's like if I said that school shooters are cool. Like, do you see just how dumb that sounds? Like, what the fuck, man?
But it definitely is really annoying. Shit, that shows how little he knows about the actual world if he thinks SJWs are really a threat.
Well, they lost most of their power, and that's why I don't talk about them much anymore. And can you define threat? I don't think they're a threat to my life, but I do think they're a threat to other things.
What I mean by threat is the type of stuff they pass, like what they pass through legislation, right? And the reason why that's dumb to think that they're a threat is because most of the Congress right now, most of the people in Congress right now are Republican. Right? And the president is the literal epitome of an anti-SJW. The head honcho in this country is against SJWs, right? And even then, the Democratic Party, it isn't even like a left-wing party. It's more centrist than anything. Like, these radical SJW types that you're talking about, they've never had legitimate power. Okay? They've never been anything. Right? Like... They've always just been a minority of retards. Like, they're just dumbass college kids doing nothing with their lives. And the thing that a lot of people seem to forget is that college kids have always been radical, right? That's just how college kids are. Like, they've always been like this. I guarantee you in 5 to 10 years, they're gonna grow out of it. Because that's just how college kids are. So yeah, this is why the idea of thinking that SJWs is a threat to our lives or through legislation and shit like that, it's silly. It's fantasy. It's just not true.
What's even funnier about this is that Jar is a Trump supporter. Anyone who's a Trump supporter and a free speech warrior is already a fucking moron, considering Trump does not support free speech and has made claims against free speech. You do know that even if Jar was supporting or voted for Trump, we honestly had a lose-lose situation for us. It was either pick the loony Oompa Loompa or crazy email deleting psychopath. Either way, we were screwed.
Or, you know, you could just not vote. And what's even dumber about this is that Jar made that video he made where he was talking about who he voted for. He did nothing but praise Trump in that video. He was like, the entire video was just him saying Trump is doing good here, Trump is doing good there. Like, he did nothing but praise Trump. So excuse me if I think he's a Trump supporter, right? And I still do, by the way. I mean, again, he made a video talking about how CNN is fake news, right? That is, like, what am I supposed to respond to that, right? So, sorry, I still think he's a Trump supporter. I mean, if he's just going to keep, you know, parroting the views that Trump has, then yeah, of course I'm going to think he's a Trump supporter, right? Which again, doesn't refute my point of how can you be a free speech warrior if you support Donald Trump?
I've had my fair share of videos in which people disliked it greatly, and I was fully expecting this video to not be a popular one of mine. Number one, it was a video dealing with Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic. Anyone who knows TGWTG fanboys knows very well that they are a rambunctious group of people, usually incapable of rational thought or reasoning. You so much as even say one negative thing about him, and they will swarm the comments to defend their hero. Number two, the subject of my video was about copyright, which is a rather touchy subject. With how confusing and complicated the copyright law is, there's always great debate about whether or not shit like some geek's fan dub of some shit anime, or some basement dweller's comprehensive review of Barney Goes to a Black Lives Matter rally violates copyright law or falls under fair use. Number three, the video ended up being shared on Reddit. If you know anything about Reddit, yeah, enough said. Number four, some people just don't like me at all and refuse to concede whenever I make a good point and will just hate anything and everything I do.
So basically you are saying that the only reason why people disliked your video is because it's about copyright, and that the only people who disliked your video are Doug Walker fanboys and people who just don't like you? Okay, number one, it has more to do than just copyright, because you were speaking very ignorantly about it in your video and in this post as well. And what makes it worse is how you act like you knew everything about copyright, despite what you say later in this post. Number two, now granted, there probably were some fanboys who disliked your video purely because it was on Doug Walker, but the majority of people disliked it because of ignorance and your overall attitude you had in the video. Let me tell you something right now, Clay. I said this in the comment of your video that I'm not a Doug Walker fanboy. I don't give a shit about the Nostalgia Critic or any of his videos. I still think your video is utter shit. And number three, there were some of your own subscribers who disliked your video and thought the video was bad. So who are you to claim that the only people who hated your video were fanboys or blind haters? You know, this is some extreme deja vu, because if I recall correctly, Mr. Enter would claim that all of his opponents are just trolls, and now here's Clay Claymore claiming that all of his opponents are either fanboys or blind haters.
Nevertheless, my video has shaken so many jimmies, so to speak, that some of the YouTube commentary community decided to take time out of their busy schedule of troll shielding and making god-awful response videos to Anita Sarkeesian to make a commentary on my video.
Wait, hold up. Troll shielding? You say you are trolling, yet you overreact to my video on your Twitter and you make this horrendous Tumblr post in response. Because, let's be real here, if you were really trolling, you wouldn't be making this Tumblr post right now, because an internet troll is someone who pisses people off for fun without giving a shit about the criticism he receives.
One in particular that several people have pointed out to me is this. Ooh boy, let's see here. An absolutely embarrassing title screen, crayon writing, some sprite shit put in as a vain attempt to make this look cool, too much video game shit in general. The video is longer than my original video. Seriously, commentators, knock that shit off. Low quality microphone quality, random shouting where the audio peaks, taking jokes too seriously, missing the point entirely. The guy himself confirms that he's a child going through puberty.
Wow, so my title screen is now a problem, along with the fact that I quote-unquote use too much video game shit? My title screen. Funny, considering how you criticize Enter many times for extreme nitpicking. Also, what's so bad about my microphone anyway? Yeah, I get it. It's not perfect, and I'll admit that it's not the best microphone, but you can still understand me perfectly, right? I mean, it's not like Ben the Looney's microphone. And even then, you are the one using text in your commentaries. So, you have almost no right to talk. And my video is longer than your original video? Wow, you mean me taking your video and adding something to it? Man, wow, man, you are so right. How dare my video be longer than your video? Man, I would have never figured that out. But in all seriousness though, no fucking shit my video is longer than yours, considering my video is a commentary on your video. And very hypocritical, considering that your commentary on Matthew Davis before the WMAR video is longer than Matthew Davis's original video. And lastly, yeah, I'm a child going through puberty. I'm 17. What's your point? How does that refute my point? Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Seeing Clay Claymore not relying on pointless ad hominem attacks is the equivalent of seeing Mr. Enter not nitpicking a cartoon. Oh, and I'm missing the point entirely and taking jokes too seriously? The irony is strong in this one.
Yep, it's a commentary community video, alright, and it truly says something when most of my detractors tend to look a lot like him. Looking at this guy's channel, it looks like he's stuck in 2008 with his production quality.
I'm stuck in 2008? Again, you are using text for your commentaries.
Against my better judgment, I tried to watch some of this guy's video. Sure enough, it was the same ignorant, tired crap that every retard has been lobbing at me. Nevertheless, I felt it was time to add a referendum to my video. To begin with, I do not take back anything I said in the video. I do believe that Doug Walker is starting this WTFU hashtag campaign, mainly because his ad revenue has gone down south since roughly 2010 or so.
An assumption is still an assumption. Do you have any full, exact, indisputable proof that Doug is doing this entirely for money? Even then, this doesn't matter, and I will further explain later in the video.
I do believe that WTFU will have a similar fate to Gamergate, the YouTube blackout, and the Here is Bob comments, in that this whole thing will die in 2 months tops, and only retards with no common sense or reasoning will continue to try to make it big.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Just an honest question. Does WTFU surviving or not really matter? No, seriously. Does it actually matter? The reason I say this is because even if WTFU dies, people are still going to be complaining about the false copyright claims they're receiving and how YouTube doesn't adhere to fair use. And even then, Clay, you aren't refuting what WTFU is trying to do, and that is stop the false copyright claims. You are basically saying, oh, you guys will never succeed at what you do, so just give up, which is just a retarded fallacy. And seriously, you're going to refer to anyone who supports this movement as retards with no common sense? My god, you are such an oversensitive, pretentious asshole.
I am sick and tired of guys like I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks bitching about their reviews getting pulled. Oh, but their videos fall under fair use, you say to me. Well, we'll get to that point a bit later in this post. Full disclosure, I am not a copyright expert. Then again, neither are you or Doug or I Hate Everything or Your Movie Sucks or Mr. Enter or Team 4-Star. Contrary to what my detractors say, I have never claimed to know all there is to copyright or fair use. However, I do possess a working fucking brain, and I looked it up and saw that there are some things about it that not many people are aware, nor are they making themselves aware of. But we'll get to that later.
I know I said this in my original commentary, but I'll say it again. Doug, Enter, Your Movie Sucks, I Hate Everything, etc. never claimed that they were copyright experts. No one said that. And you say you never said you were a copyright expert yourself, but you sure as hell act like it. Because remember, actions speak louder than words. For fuck's sake, you basically say right after, I possess a working fucking brain and look this shit up so I know. Even though Your Movie Sucks and several YouTubers also looked it up as well. And what makes it worse is how arrogant you act towards knowing anything about copyright, yet you are completely wrong about all the shit you say. We'll get to that later in the video.
First off, let's talk a bit about Doug Walker. It's no surprise to anyone with a functioning mental disease-free brain that the whole reviewing money ship has been tanking for quite a while now.
Yeah, you are right. Reviews are definitely tanking. Now, granted, reviews aren't as popular as they were back in the day, but saying they are tanking as in failing miserably is retarded.
There was once a time when everybody wanted to cash in on that sweet, sweet reviewing fame, popularized by Doug Walker and to a lesser extent James Rolfe of Angry Video Game Nerd fame. But much like doing an abridged series or the eventual fate of Facecam Let's Plays, that gravy train derailed rather quickly. With the quality of the Nostalgia Critic on a downward spiral, even more so when he brought the show back after that painfully unfunny demo reel show, the popularity of reviewing shows as well as Channel Awesome started to drop. With viewership dwindling, we had guys like Linkara complaining about people using ad blocker, or Angry Joe complaining about Nintendo taking down his copyright.
Why is it a problem that Linkara complains about people using ad blocker, considering that it's his own money being removed right there? And Angry Joe can't complain about Nintendo taking down a fucking Let's Play of a video game? Something that you need to play to get the full experience?
With Doug, although he won't admit it, his views aren't the same as they were back in 2008/2009 when he was raking the views and ad revenue in. Now that he's back on YouTube and the copyright system is interfering with his way of earning money, now suddenly copyright is an issue. It wasn't that his show has been unfunny and watchable for a while now, no. Copyright is why people aren't watching his videos and giving him ad revenue. As I said in the video, he didn't seem to care about any copyright issues when he was on Blip.
Okay people, I'm going to admit something here right now. I said in my original video that Doug may not have known about the copyright on YouTube and therefore Clay shouldn't be complaining about it. Well, that was a bad point. But hey, I don't mind admitting this considering that's probably the closest Clay is going to get when it comes to making a good argument. So, yeah. But basically, Clay is saying that since Doug was on Blip and wasn't on YouTube, he is now just complaining about it because it now affects him, and in reality, he doesn't care about fair use on YouTube. If that was the case, why did Doug mention other content creators facing this problem and not just himself? Because it doesn't seem to make any sense, to me at least, that if Doug was truly doing this for himself and himself only, that he would mention other YouTubers in the video. And as much as I don't want to, I'm going to skip a little bit because he's basically saying that Doug is doing this all for money and using examples such as, oh, he only used examples of his videos in the video, and he returned the Nostalgia Critic character after demo reel failed. Okay, first off, Doug didn't just use examples of his videos being pulled, as I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks gave out examples of their videos as well. So there goes that argument out the window. And even if he did only use examples of his videos being pulled, it's his video, so who the fuck actually cares? Second, ever thought that maybe Doug returned the Nostalgia Critic considering many people were complaining about the end of the Nostalgia Critic? Just a thought. And lastly, even if Doug was doing this all for himself and all for the money, even though that's still a baseless assumption considering that you don't know what Doug's true intentions are, that still doesn't refute his claim about the YouTube copyright system being broken as all hell. So honestly, this whole argument of yours is just an ad hominem attack.
Now, let's talk about WTFU and the major effect it'll have on the internet, shall we? For all of you idiots who truly think that YouTube copyright system will change because of WTFU, I want you to actually think, when did a hashtag movement or a video really change things drastically? Really think about it. When has that ever happened?
In 2014, there was a massive protest in Hong Kong in response to the government's decision to end civil nominations of candidates. Guess what helped spread awareness so much to the point that the United Nations urged the government to give in to the protesters' demands of allowing free elections? The hashtag Umbrella Revolution. You said earlier that Gamergate is ending for the most part and it's slowly dying down. Funny that there's a hashtag titled Stop Gamergate in which, judging by the name, that's its goal, to take down Gamergate. And like you said, how Gamergate is dying, so I guess they are succeeding. The Ice Bucket hashtag and movement managed to raise a ton of awareness for ALS. The money raised for the disease is around $115 million. So yeah, hashtag movements could have an effect, whether it be positive, negative, major, or minor. They could still make an effect. And again, I'm going to skip again because he drags on his point about hashtag movements not doing anything.
And finally, we come to fair use itself. Now ask anybody what fair use is and they'll tell you that it's a thing where you can take someone's copyrighted work and use it for cases of reviews, parodies, commentaries, criticisms, or education. While there's more to it than that, on paper, it sounds like a sweet deal, right? Sometimes you want to use a portion or most of someone else's work to review it or parody it or use it for educational purposes. And this sounds like it makes all of that possible. Well, here's something about fair use almost nobody knows about, and that's this. Limitations on exclusive rights. Fair use.
It's funny considering how a lot of people already knew about the limitations of fair use with the whole reaction channels controversy.
I want you to pay very close attention to numbers 1 and 4. The first factor of whether or not something falls under fair use is basically what are you using the copyrighted material for? Is it for commercial nature or is it for non-profit educational use? Almost every movie reviewer I've seen bitching about WTFU are violating both parts. With them making money off the reviews they're making, be it through ad revenue or having a Patreon page, it definitely fits under commercial use and the non-profit part flies out the window. If you're making money using somebody else's work, then they have a case. Note, it doesn't mean they're automatically going to win, but they have a good shot at it. Fair use won't totally save you here.
You do realize whether the person makes money or not is not that important, right? It doesn't matter whether the guy uses the material for commercial or non-profit uses, even though that is technically a factor. And you say that if the person makes money off the copyrighted material, then the opponent has a good case? Hold on to this point, people. This will come back to bite him in the ass. Badly.
Then there's the fourth factor, which is the effect that using said copyrighted material can have on the value and performance of the original copyrighted work. Basically, you making a review that encompasses spoiling the entire movie or an abridged series can have an impact on how the original work does. If somebody saw your spoiler-filled review or somebody watched your hardly edited abridged series of, I don't know, let's say Dragon Ball Z, then that could damage the performance of the original work and thus companies can take said videos down. And fair use won't totally be able to help you should they take you to court for it. And before anybody can bring up Derek Savage, first off, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of all the pissing and moaning about him taking down reviews. Is he an overly sensitive asswipe? Arguably. Nevertheless, in regards to I Hate Everything, he has the legal right to do what he did. You and I Hate Everything might not like it, but it's true.
Holy fucking shit. Reviews don't affect sales negatively. I mean, let's look at Star Wars The Force Awakens. That movie is the third highest grossing movie of all time, yet there have been multiple reviews about the movie. Even then, a review is supposed to spoil a movie anyway. Why? Because it's a critical analysis of the movie in question. So of course the movie would be spoiled. That being said, watching a review of the movie is not the same as watching the actual movie. That's like saying instead of playing a video game, I'll just watch a Let's Play instead. Both of which sound extremely stupid. So quit trying to put them in the same ballpark because they are completely different. And I love how you complain about people bringing up Derek Savage even though that drama has officially ended, yet you still bring him up in this post. And lastly, are you seriously trying to tell me that Derek Savage was legally able to not only file a false copyright strike, but also send IHE threatening emails of how he will try to remove his entire channel, basically his job, and other illegal bullshit like that? Wow, man, you have a great point right there. Nice job. To refute this claim even more, Derek Savage's movie sold more thanks to people like YMS and IHE. And guess who said that? Derek Savage himself.
The reason why I know it had never hurt my brand, and I'm not stating this, I mean, over the past week, good Lord Almighty, I have sold more Cool Cat movies than I usually do in a month and a half period. More Cool Cat t-shirts. I had to place another order.
So I Hate Everything didn't break the fourth rule at all.
Here are some videos to educate you further on the 4 factors of fair use. They're both short videos, so you have no excuse not to watch them.
So Clay Claymore leaves 2 videos on the 4 factors of fair use and the common myths of copyright. Now, the 2 videos he leaves me are actually good, informative videos. The problem is that these videos refute Clay's point even further. Now, remember when Clay said that if the person using the copyrighted material makes money off of it, then the company who owns the material have a good case on their hands for copyright infringement? Well, the video Clay gives says otherwise.
Whether you're making money or not is not the distinguishing factor, which is the second myth, which is, it's not okay if you are using it for a commercial purpose.
So Clay, you tell me that if it's a commercial use, then the owners of the material have a good case, yet the same video you give me tells that one of the common myths of fair use is that a commercial use is not okay? Keep in mind that this is coming from the same video that he sent me. Also, on a side note, remember this from my original commentary? Wait a minute, hold up. Let me actually read this. This is something that has been irking me. People, fair use is a defense, not a right. Wow. You actually made a decent point. Well, me and Claymore turned out to be wrong in this case, but the reason I'm saying this is because in the video Clay shows me, the woman herself says that fair use is a right.
And fair use really is the right to use copyrighted content without permission.
Clay, actually make sure that what you are saying is consistent, please.
Now, I want to leave you folks with one final tidbit. With all these idiots and self-entitled reviewers pissing and moaning about copyright, I am suddenly reminded of a musical artist who had a similar incident like what's happening to Doug now, and how he solved the problem in a true professional manner. Enter Weird Al Yankovic. You know him as that guy that makes pretty funny parody songs that unfunny nerds obsess over. Well, once upon a time, he did a parody of the Coolio song called Gangsta's Paradise. He dubbed it Amish Paradise. There was some controversy about Coolio and how he never gave Weird Al permission to parody this song. The whole thing has blown over since then, but one can see that this situation was very similar to what's happening now. But check this out. Rather than get mad and parade fair use around like an entitled, ignorant child, he has since always asked permission from the original song creator whenever he wants to parody any of their songs. And he's been doing good since then, and nobody gives him shit anymore. So if these would-be professional reviewers want to be taken seriously, cool it with the worthless hashtags and whining, go out to these movie studios or whomever it concerns and ask for their permission to use their work in your unfunny shit skit videos.
You are an absolute moron. Just a moron. You do realize that fair use is in place so that the person doesn't have to get permission, right? That is the literal point and definition of fair use. Because if you had to get permission to use anybody else's material, there would be no such thing as a negative review, unless the owner in question didn't mind somebody critiquing their work. The video you showed me says this as well.
The final common myth that I hear is that if I try to get permission and they say no, then I can't use it, right? Well, no, that's not true. The courts have been very clear that asking for permission and being denied is not a bar to relying on fair use if you are denied permission.
Now granted, it's a very good thing to get permission, and good on Weird Al for getting permission so he could make his parody songs without any trouble. But guess what? YouTube's copyright system is so fucked that Team 4-Star, who got permission from Funimation themselves, got their channel temporarily deleted. Team 4-Star got permission and their channel was still deleted, albeit temporarily. That is the point of the WTFU movement, to fix YouTube's broken copyright system, because it's so fucked to the point that anybody can just take down anyone's video. Why would Team 4-Star get their channel taken down supposedly for copyright when they got permission to use the Dragon Ball Z material? And permission from the owner is pretty much the saving grace. And on a side note, you do realize that Doug Walker tried contacting YouTube, right? And YouTube constantly ignored him until he made the what the hell YouTube video. So you ask me, who is the one truly being unprofessional?
As for people who get their videos taken down even though they contain no copyrighted material, such as Cinema Snob's videos, sorry, the system really is fucked, and it sucks that your video was a part of that. You can file a counterclaim and see if that solves anything, but if it doesn't, then damn.
Wow. You just admitted that the copyright system is fucked, which is why WTFU is a thing. Oh my god. Let me tell you something, Clay. If you admit that the main point you are trying to argue with is correct, then that seriously fucks you over big time.
Wow, that was a lengthy ass post. I applaud you if you sat down and read all that shit, and I thank you for taking the time to read my thoughts on the matter, whether you disagree with me or not. And to those former fans of mine who left because I made a video on Doug Walker and think WTFU is a pointless ass movement, don't worry, you'll come back when I make a video of somebody you don't like, because some of you are really that fucking shallow. Cough, hardcore kid, cough.
Wow. So you are going to insult your fans that left just because they thought one of your videos is absolute shit? You are honestly no better than the mysterious Mr. Enter. Actually, never mind. At least Enter isn't a hypocrite about it, unlike you. So, I guess I can officially say that you have become worse than Enter. You know what's funny? You criticized Enter for months and said things like Enter is the absolute definition of a man-child. And here you are, the new mysterious Mr. Enter. Nice job. Oh, and to any former fans of Clay Claymore, I strongly advise not going back to his videos. Okay, you see it right here. He doesn't give a shit about you, and he insulted you.
Why is it not seen as shitty when reaction channels steal people's entire videos on YouTube?
That would be because of fair use, and depending on how the videos are used, it determines whether or not it is actually theft of copyrighted content.
But reaction channels literally upload the original YouTuber's entire unedited video in the corner of their video. One of the terms of fair use is the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole, meaning the amount of video used actually matters, for crying out loud. So fair use is actually being violated here.
Well, seen thanks to the Farm Brothers. Reaction channels are the scum of YouTube.
Okay, just because the Fine Brothers made a mistake doesn't mean that all reaction channels are horrible.
You're right. Not all reaction channels are horrible or video thieves, but guess what? Grade mentions this in his video.
Now listen, let me just explain this, okay? I do not have a problem with all reactions. That is not the case, right? Here's Mr. Repzion doing a reaction video, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Here's a video from the Completely Unnecessary Podcast guys, who I fucking love, by the way, who are giving their thoughts on the recent Suicide Squad trailer, and again, there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Honestly, did you even watch Grade's video before making this response?
Fact, before this whole Fine Brothers fiasco, everybody pointed to the Fine Brothers as the pinnacle of what reaction channels should be.
Just like what Grade said in his video.
Now listen, let me just say this, right? I do not like the Fine Brothers at all. I think they're bug-eyed cunts they tried to trademark a word. That's some seriously scumbag shit, right? But the type of reaction videos that the Fine Brothers would make were, in all honesty, completely fine under copyright law.
You are saying that reaction channels are the scum of YouTube as if that's a fact. Who are you to decide? Now, I don't mean this as a personal jab, but I'm going to use your work as an example. There are animators out there who would say that your work is the scum of YouTube and you don't put as much time into your drawings and your style as animators with higher production value. They would say that your content takes less effort to produce, just like reaction channels take less effort to produce. Now, don't get me wrong, I freaking love the videos on your channel, but do you see where I'm coming from?
First off, why does this even matter? Second, the difference is that Grade doesn't steal other YouTubers' videos even if his animations take less time to make. You are missing the point. Lastly, while Grade does have some animations on his videos, he mainly focuses more on critiquing rather than animating, so your point is flat out irrelevant.
There are also people who love that reaction content.
Aww, you mean the cute little 8-year-olds that clearly don't know any better and shouldn't even be on the internet to begin with? Yeah, because we should definitely value their opinion, right?
The biggest problem with these new reaction channels is that they're not going out of their way to ask permission from the uploader of the original video if they have permission to react.
Under fair use, you don't need permission. In fact, let me show you a source for this. Now, there are some factors that go into this, including the entire length of the video used.
The entire length of the video used. Let that sink in for a moment, guys.
But if you are using a video to support something that you are saying, as in for criticism or for news reporting, you do not have to get permission.
But these reaction channels barely add anything to the video, let alone criticism. They just sit there watching the video and maybe afterwards say some minor things. Even then, they are uploading other people's videos in its entirety.
This is an argument that Grade A is going to use throughout his entire video when it does not apply. Now, to his credit, it is always best to seek permission. However, let's take this video as an example. I already know that Grade A under A doesn't like to give permission to have his videos used. On top of that, I'm reporting this as news because this whole thing just happened about an hour ago, so I have to get this video out by a certain time to where I don't have time to wait for permission. Plus, I'm giving criticism in this video for which there's a chance he wouldn't give permission if he knew what this video was going to say. And that is exactly why fair use protects criticism. Now,
well, here's the thing. What you're doing is fair use. I will agree with you on there because you're giving criticism and commentary. Okay, I will agree with you on there. However, you are also editing the video, which is another reason why I'll say what you're doing is fair use. However, someone who wants to upload somebody else's entire video needs to get permission because that's their entire video being uploaded.
Reactors are generally giving criticism or commentary on a video. Later in this video, Grade A is going to discuss how for a specific video he has in mind, only 7 words of commentary or criticism were given. And does that really count as commentary? Tyrone Magnus, who will be coming up later in the video, his defense to this is saying that 90% of all communication is nonverbal, so he's still giving commentary by a silent reaction via his body language.
Are you serious? A silent reaction? Someone just kill me right now.
we're going to take a closer look at that coming up.
Reaction channels always say that they make no money, right? I don't get that much money from reactions. What do people not understand? The biggest issue you guys have is how successful we are and how little effort we are to get to that success. You should actually applaud us for that. You should be like, congratulations, man. All you do is just react to videos and you make this much money? Like, So if reaction videos make no money, then why is this guy boasting about how much money he makes reacting?
Okay, first of all, fair point. He just made reactors look pretty terrible and full of hubris. Anytime there is a loophole, people are going to take advantage of it, which is why the system needs to be fixed. And frankly, finding a way this foolproof to be able to take advantage of YouTube's algorithms is brilliant.
So abusing the obvious broken system and making money off other people's videos while at the same time completely crapping on the YouTube channels you take their content from is brilliant? Do you even think before you talk?
Even if someone's facial expression is blank for a moment or two, or longer, that shows you that at that moment they're not amused.
That's an argument to be made. If communication is nonverbal, does it still make a point? Because if it doesn't, then this satire video from Jack's Films of Jack reacting to Jinx reacting to Jack isn't fair use, even if it's satire. Because is what he did transformative if he didn't use words to do it?
But Jack was doing it because it was his own video being stolen. Jinx stole his video and uploaded it in his video, which is the reason Jack made the false reaction video, which to me is a perfectly valid reason.
Now, I would argue that Jack's video clearly is satire, and he's making a point specifically by not speaking and by staring blankly at the screen the way he says that Jinx does. But if that's okay, why is it okay when Jack does it, but not okay when Tyrone does it?
Because again, it's Jack's video being stolen, not Jinx.
Last time I saw, he had over 300,000 views on that video, which equates to hundreds of dollars, alright?
But does it really? Here's 234,000 views, and it only made 86 cents.
You are a smaller channel with a smaller sub count. Also, Tyrone literally shows the entire DM where he admitted to making hundreds of dollars off the video in his response video. Want some proof? Here you go. Next time, do research before making a video.
So not only is it copyright infringement, but it's some seriously shady, predatory shit. It's an illegal, get-rich-quick, fuck others over so I can steal from them style of video.
You can't just say it's illegal.
So wait, he can't say copyright infringement is illegal? Oh, this point ought to be good.
And in fact, you may be slandering Tyrone by accusing him of illegal acts.
Let's look at the definition of slander. Slander, noun. The action or crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. In other words, slander means lying to ruin someone's reputation in speech. But how was Grade slandering Tyrone when Tyrone stole Grade's video? It is copyright infringement because fair use is being violated because, again, one of the terms is the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole.
So if you are a firm believer in this Grade A, willing to go so far as to call it illegal and potentially slander someone, why don't you take this to court yourself?
Do you honestly think that Grade, or Tyrone for that matter, have time to go to court about something like this, even though it's clear that Tyrone stole Grade's video?
YouTube does nothing about channels that routinely steal videos like this. YouTube doesn't give a fuck.
That's because YouTube legally can't.
Yeah, they can. I mean, you literally said they can take down a video in your last point.
YouTube determine copyright ownership. No. YouTube isn't able to mediate rights ownership disputes. When we receive a complete takedown notice, we remove the content as the law requires.
Actually watch your videos before you upload them, please.
So I go and put my third-party claim in, right? So now I'm the one earning money from it. So after my third-party claim is in, and Tyrone is no longer the one earning money from my video, guess what he does? The video that I made that is now earning me money, he deletes it. As far as Tyrone Magnus is concerned, if he can't benefit from my hard work, then nor will I.
I'm going to come back to this insult in just a minute. But to address what Grade A just said, there's apparently no winning with him.
Yeah, there is. It's called not reacting to his video. I mean, shit, he makes a whole video criticizing reaction channels and the idea of reaction channels, yet Tyrone still makes the reaction to his video knowing he probably will get pissed off with it.
He's mad when the video is up, he's mad when it's taken down.
Oh my god. Grade is mad because Tyrone deleted the video after Grade was actually making money off the video and not Tyrone. And even then, Tyrone shouldn't have uploaded the video to begin with. You keep missing the point. I don't want to do this. I'm out of here. Seriously. Okay, MegaDoopTV, calm yourself. You are so close. Just a little longer. Finish what you started.
What a fucking class act Tyrone is, right?
So you just called him what? And you're calling him a class act?
Even though Tyrone was lying and stole Grade's video, Grade can't call him a cunt? Are you an SJW?
The third condition is raped by reaction channels because they show the entire copyrighted video. You can't get more substantial than that.
That's a problem too. You're focusing on the entire video, which is the most egregious case. However, what defines how much of a video you can use? What if you just trim 1 frame off the video? What if you trim 1 second, 10 seconds, 10 minutes? Where do you draw the line?
Okay, how about we start with not using the entire video?
I agree that he's in a real gray area, and if this was taken to court, I do not think that his defense would hold up. And
You agree that Tyrone's case won't hold up in court? Then what was the point of this video? Oh yeah, because you're a reactor yourself, right?
Well guys, it's time for another commentary, and sorry for being a little late on this one. I had school shit that I had to take care of first, so yeah. Anyways, this is another multi-degree commentary, and let me just say there's a lot of degrees for this video. Basically, Mr. Enter made an animated atrocity on Girls Gone Mild. Clay Claymore did a commentary on that video. Now, this user by the name of Comment Jack did a commentary on Clay's video. Then this user by the name of DiCaprio DeLorean or whatever the fuck did a commentary on Comment Jack's commentary on Clay's commentary on Mr. Enter. Comment Jack did a response commentary, and here we are. Yeah, I will be cutting out as much as I can to avoid confusion.
Hey everyone, this is DiCaprio Doran here. Remember when I did a Mr. Enter commentary? Good times. I bring this up because I'm doing a commentary on a fanboy Mr. Enter.
9 seconds. It took you 9 seconds to get to bad taste.
Bad taste? Wait, what? Bad taste in what? Oh, because he called you a fanboy? Well, I think he called you that because you were making fanboyish points against Clay in your video.
Okay, I don't usually like to make preemptive judgments against shows or movies.
Okay, first off, he never said he hated Family Guy. Second, that's a purpose of criticism. And third, I typed Mr. Enter in your account and found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos.
Okay, Mr. Tough Guy, most of his animated atrocities at the time of this video were mostly on Teen Titans Go or Family Guy. Clay Claymore does our PP, like Oh Free Be Good and other animation fans that are jerk as Mr. Enter. Oh wait, you didn't even check out his channel because you did a video on your favorite YouTuber.
Whatever, he goes right into both.
So what? Did you even try to refute his point? Because simply saying whatever doesn't exactly make a good point, mister.
Also, you stutter and have a somewhat crappy mic. Fix it!
Have you ever worked with a broken USB?
And how does that refute his point exactly? Simply asking, have you ever worked a USB doesn't refute his point about your mic being shitty.
I had to play Comet Jack's comment like 3 times to hear what he was saying. I know he can't help it, but speak a little clearly when you have some... But speak a little clearly.
Yeah, I have to fix that.
Yeah, because agreeing with the person you're commentating on is such a good idea.
People want spin-offs or reboots of their favorite shows. In the case of the Rachel and Titans, there are stories and areas they haven't explored.
Oh no, you did not type that.
But in all seriousness, most people still complain about cartoons of today, and they're all like, I want the old shows back, I won't like change. And they do bring back, they're like, this isn't how I remember where you succeed, and y'all should die and work on that show.
Are we talking about Mr. Enter or Doggy D Dashan?
No, DiCaprio was refuting your point. And even though it's fairly obvious, I guess I have to explain this to you. You originally said in your commentary on Clay Claymore that Clay shouldn't have typed that, but DiCaprio was simply explaining why Clay typed that by stating that the animation fanbase can never be pleased no matter what. Okay, seriously, why did you need to fast forward all this crap? I can understand if it was important but took so long, so in that case it would make sense for you to fast forward it. But here, this is clearly not important, so why didn't you just skip it?
First of all, these two here are Stan and Sandra Practice, a shameless and obvious strawmanning of the standards and practices that dictate what you can or can't show on television. These characters are designed to be rich, snooty, detached from reality, and obnoxious.
One minute later...
I don't think you get what he was saying. He basically said Mr. Enter has a poor understanding of what satire is. Watch TVRB Robotnik Returns and Realm Wars' commentary on the satire video Mr. Enter did. It'll help you since you don't seem to be able to read properly.
I think you took my line out of context. He just muted the audio, making himself look smarter.
Oh my god. Do you not understand what he is saying? You know what? No, I'm not going to explain every single fucking detail to you.
Let's start with the fact that this episode would work a lot better if we actually saw kids imitating the Powerpuff Girls and getting hurt because of it.
When do we hear that? Never. Instead we mute it and bitch about the editing.
Well, it is a thing to bring up since Mr. Enter has crappy editing. Seriously, it's just like the same 5 clips from the episode he's reviewing. But since we're talking about the almighty Mr. Enter, no one has the right to criticize a god.
Okay, look. If you want to talk about the editing, fine. But don't go reality show editor on it.
Reality show? What? What the fuck are you even talking about?
Oh my god. Next thing you know, they'll be playing hopscotch. We have to do something.
Yes, it was. And it was hilarious. It also proves that you're an asshole.
That is the only point you have against Clay Claymore and his travesty. You're just saying he's a jerk without any real proof. Also, that joke was lame and your fanboy boner is showing. Put that thing away, there's kids here on this place, god.
Oh my god. Do you realize that counts as sexual harassment?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
What did he do that was sexual harassment? He simply said, put your fanboyish boner away. Why? Because that was a joke, you moronic, imbecilic, idiotic, foolish mango!
I know that not everyone who thinks there should be some kind of standards in regards to violence or whatever in the shows is a dashed idiot. What I'm saying is there's an argument to be made here. Hell, there's even a satire to be made here. But no, it doesn't want to make this argument.
Oh, come on, not even a sound effect or some sort. You have all this editing software, do all this fancy smancy stuff to Clay Claymore's video, but can't even have a sound clip?
People, just because you suck production-wise, doesn't mean your review is worthless.
And the point flew over your head again for the millionth time. DiCaprio was saying that since you have this editing, why don't you add a simple sound effect?